Muhammad, thank you so much for your time and talking to me about this. Let's talk about this. I mean, I read up on it, and in my understanding, I mean, you, as a parent who's paying maintenance, you cannot use the reasoning that your salary has been cut to request for your maintenance to stop or to be reduced. Is that the case?
That is 100% the case. And the reason for that is if you say that you can stop paying maintenance, we're basically saying that the child should stop eating or stop having a roof over his head because the money gets used for that specific purpose.
Right. And I also understand that there's a holistic picture or view with which the court or even the judge has to look at before they can even take your case or your proposal into consideration, this including how many assets you have.
Correct, yes. So when the court determines what amount of maintenance you must pay, they do not only look at your income, they look at your assets, and at the same time, they also look at your capability of earning income as well. So if somebody lost their job during the lockdown period, the question is, can that person be reemployed? And at the same time, does that person have assets to sell to pay the maintenance?
And also just looking at perhaps just the criteria, if ever at all, the court would consider your proposal. I mean, what would they be looking at holistically?
Okay, so if the court has to reconsider the matter, the court will have to look at everything. And at the same time, the court will have to look at the needs of the child during lockdown, because certain expenditures are not an expense in the lockdown, for argument's sake, extramural activities or outings, or petrol might be much less. Then we have to look at the income and expenditure of the other party, the other parent, for example, the mother, should she have primary care over the child. And then we look at the father's situation if he's the one that has to pay child maintenance. So the court will have to look at the entire matter holistically and determine whether or not it's justifiable to change the current maintenance order that is in place.
But Muhammad, is it easy right now to even give a written proposal to the courts right now, or would such a proposal only be considered after the lockdown?
So presently, the maintenance courts are supposed to be fully in operation. So if a father or a mother that has to pay child maintenance cannot afford to pay it, we advise them to immediately approach a maintenance court. The very least that will happen is that an application has been made, so the court will know that there is something to deal with. But whether or not the court will expeditiously deal with the matter, that is a different question.
Right.
My experience for the last few weeks was the courts are moving a bit slower than usual.
And also just in my understanding, I mean, this has to be done in a written form, right? Because obviously, due to the lockdown, there are, limitations in terms of how many people can be at court, how many people can just access those essential services workers. So it has to be done in writing and also virtually, I understand.
Okay, so the other courts, for example, maybe like the High Court dealing with more commercialized matters, etc., those type of matters are generally dealt with virtually. There has been a lot of changes that took place since the 1st of May. Now, currently, the maintenance courts and the domestic violence courts are basically operating in full force. So it can be done via the normal proceedings. Obviously, considering COVID-19, certain precautions will have to be in place. But if you ask me the question whether or not a different matter, for example, if somebody owes you money and you would like to take them to court, under those circumstances, it's very unlikely that the court will deal with the matter. But on the same breath, dealing with child maintenance application variations, a formal application form will have to be completed, as in any variation application, where the party will have to outline his income expenditures and give the court the reasons why he cannot afford to pay the current maintenance order.
Right. Muhammad, you mentioned there issues around owing of money. So if a parent has, perhaps been in areas for maintenance claims, what's the process then for them to take?
Yeah, so that's the beautiful thing about the lockdown regulations that were enforced previously. If the other party was violating the maintenance order, you could approach the maintenance court. So at present, if there is non-compliance with the terms of the maintenance order, you can immediately lay a complaint at the maintenance court. The maintenance court will follow two different procedures, either a criminal procedure, where they will subpoena or summons the father or the other party to the maintenance court, to the criminal court, and a criminal case will be lodged. Or the other procedure is the civil procedure, where the court will try to maybe attach the person's property, maybe a garnish order will be imposed, or attach any debts that the person might have.
All right, that's where we leave it.
Sorry, any money is owed to that person.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that clarification. Muhammad Abduroaf, thank you for joining us there. Just talking more about maintenance issues around this particular lockdown. Just very clear, said there that you cannot use, of course, the reason that you've been, your salary has been cut as a reason for requesting to have your maintenance not being paid up or perhaps being reduced, because other issues are being considered here, including the assets that you have as a parent.